Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, we're going to review Timothy Zahn's most forgettable novel ever, Survivor's Quest. Didn't think that was going to be the intro, did you? In this story, Luke and Mara get a call from the Emperor of the Hand and they say, hey look, we found the wreckage of Outbound Flight and we thought y'all would want to, investigate that wreckage. Come with us to investigate. Now, Outbound Flight had already been printed at this time. The novel had. Timothy Zahn had already written it. It was kind of like a prequel to Heir to the Empire in a way. It tells of a separate story about the real George Sabaoth and what happened to Outbound Flight. And to be honest, you really need to read Outbound Flight before you read Survivor's Quest. There's a lot of connections between the two. Now, Timothy Zahn knows that Timothy Zahn fans are only reading Timothy Zahn books. And so Timothy Zahn fans would get all the connections. And as so would Star Wars fans too, if you've already read Outbound Flight. But, chronologically speaking, we've already read Outbound Flight, so we know all about it. And so they go off to investigate the wreckage. Now, with them, of course, there's some chiss going. There's the 501st is in this one. In fact, this is their, not chronologically speaking, their first appearance, but this is their first ever mention in a Star Wars story. Timothy Zahn, again, a big fan of the 501st. The 501st worships Timothy Zahn. I really think they have a bronze statue of him erected somewhere in their 501 headquarters. But they're big fans of Zahn because, yeah, man, the guy put you in the expanded universe. That's got to be cool. I don't fault them for that. So that's really neat. If an author said, hey Matt, I put a man name, maybe my name spelled backwards, I don't know, to Tam, and he's with an Ewok, and they are researchers. I'd be like, you're my favorite author. What's your name again? And he'd say, Chuck Wendig. And I go, ooh. Anyway, so joining them also on this quest is Chalk Fell. Yes, the other son of Baron Fell. It's funny how we only get to hear about Jagged Fell, and you get to thinking, oh, that must be the only one in the family. No, Baron Fell had many kids. We just don't get to hear about that many except for Jagged. He kind of becomes the popular one. But Chalk Fell is in this, and he's also assisting them as well. Now, during this whole investigation, there's a lot of revelations. I don't want to spoil anything, but things from Outbound Flight are now resolved a little bit. Revelations are revealed in Survivor's Quest, and they're eventually going to be attacked by Vagari warriors, which the Chiss and the 501st are going to fend off. And this is good for the Chiss because they've been waiting to declare war against these people, but they can't until they are attacked. So now they can declare a formal war against the Vagari and go against them. This whole story isn't Timothy Zahn's best. It's not his worst either by far. It's just a very forgettable story. How forgettable was it? Well, even I had to go back and review what this book was about. I had forgotten. I was like, Survivor's Quest, what happened in that one? And the thing is, though, it's kind of weird because it's a Timothy Zahn novel, right? We all should have been like, oh yes, I know exactly what happened. In a lot of Timothy Zahn novels, I can tell you specific things that happened in those novels. But when it came to Survivor's Quest, I was like, is that the one where Luke and Mara fall in love and get married? No, that was the Hand of Thrawn. Well, what was this about? I mean, it's just kind of forgettable in a way. Not to say it's bad, of course. It's worth your time, especially if you're a Zahn fan. I remember not thinking it was, bad, but obviously it can't be that good if I can't remember that much of it. And I don't know why that is. I mean, this is in his heyday. He's writing, chronologically speaking. This has all happened before the New Jet Order, and it should be something that's right in his wheelhouse. But for some reason, it just kind of fell flat. Maybe he didn't have anywhere else to go. I mean, yes, he does tie up stories from Outbound Flight, which is a book he'd written earlier. So for that reason, yeah, you should read it. But the thing is, though, you really have to be invested in Outbound Flight to enjoy this book. And I guess just I wasn't as much. I don't know. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time with another video.